Ladies and gentlemen, Snapshot 22w16a is here, quickly followed by Snapshot 22w16b. These snapshots introduce a new music disc in Fragments, new background music tracks and many other fixes and tweaks. My name is Slime and I'm here to take you on a tour of all the changes in this version. Let's start with the sound changes and the new music. There are 4 new background music tracks called Ancestry, Aerie, Firebugs, and Labyrinthine. All composed by Lena Raine, who also composed music for the Nether and Caves and Cliffs updates, as well as many other games such as Celeste. If Ancestry sounds familiar to you, that might be because it is the unused track from the Caves and Cliffs soundtrack, and it plays, of course, in the Deep Dark. Aerie, Firebugs and Labyrinthine can all play among other songs in lush caves and in all types of swamps, forests and jungles. All of the Caves and Cliffs songs have been removed from the rotation playing in the main menu. Instead, Aerie, Firebugs and Labyrinthine can now play. All of these songs can now be found on streaming services like Spotify as well as on YouTube. You can find links to them in the video description. A new music disc has also been added, the song 5 by Samuel Åberg. Unlike other music discs, you cannot find this as loot. It has to be crafted in a 3x3 pattern from a new item called Disc Fragments, which you can find in Ancient City loot chests with the same probability as finding echo shards. This disc is very different from many others and sounds more like a soundscape and a journey than a classical song piece. If you want to hear it in full, I'll link another video here with the entire track. There are news for other sounds as well. There is a new sound for an allay tossing an item. And sounds for tadpoles growing up. Getting picked up in a bucket. And getting placed down from a bucket. The subtitles for parrots imitating certain sounds have also been fixed to match the original sounds better. Let's talk about gameplay changes and some random events in the game. Many randomized things in the game have a new random distribution, using a triangular distribution rather than a Gaussian one. This doesn't really change what you see normally, but before, the outcome could, in very rare cases, be extremely skewed in a certain direction, which is something that no longer happens. For instance, this is the case with the direction of items dropped by droppers or dispensers. You won't see a difference, but the very rare event that an item got spat out far to the side no longer occurs. The things that have changed include the placement and velocity of things dropped by dispensers and droppers, of things spawned when breaking containers, the randomized flight pattern of fireworks rockets, the randomized velocity and damage for arrows and position and speed of blaze projectiles, the follow range of mobs, the velocity of the horses resulting from triggering a skeleton trap, and the patterns and time until fish appears when fishing. A bug has also been fixed with observers not firing when a mangrove tree grows and places a root block in front of them. Before we move on to even more bug fixes and tweaks in this version, please take a moment to randomly interact with the like button on the video. Your clicks on that button makes YouTube more inclined to randomly smack other viewers in the face with this video, which is a great experience everyone should have, so I do appreciate your help. Let's talk about a few changes to blocks and items, and in particular, to the new frog lights. They can now be pushed and pulled by pistons, now show up on maps and overall work more like solid blocks. They destroy cactus blocks when placed next to them, blocks that need support can be placed on them, and fluids remain at full level next to them. In mob news, frogs can now spawn on more types of blocks. Those blocks include grass, mud, mangrove roots, muddy mangrove roots, and moss carpets, which should make them appear more frequently inside mangrove swamps. The allays have also seen a round of tweaks in this snapshot. Their health has been doubled from 5 hearts to 10, that is 20 hit points. They now search for items much further away, like was already the case in Bedrock Edition betas. This is up to 32 blocks from 9 blocks. They now move slower when idle and wandering around, but faster when collecting items and returning to drop off items. The throwing arc has been changed to make them hit their targets more consistently, and the delay between dropping items has been lowered from 5 to 3 seconds. Allays now drop the item they hold if they die, and they no longer despawn if they're holding an item that they have been given. They also no longer follow and drop items to players in spectator mode. A couple of allay animation bugs have also been fixed, so they now have a flying animation like they already did in Bedrock Edition betas, and they no longer become unable to idle once they've started moving for the first time. Wardens have also seen a number of bug fixes. They could spawn in very narrow places where they would then suffocate, which is fixed in this version. Their sniffing behavior could sometimes activate incorrectly, and they could get spawned outside the world border or get angry at things outside the world border, which is also fixed. A whole bunch of pathfinding bugs have also been fixed, where axolotls trying to get to water would sometimes fall into holes or try to walk through tall walls. A number of mob types couldn't walk through open doors either, which is now fixed. That included axolotls, frogs, turtles, and striders. In world generation fixes, one of the ancient city center pieces was 1 block lower than the other ones. That has been fixed in this version. And blocks now update properly around mangrove trees when they generate. There are also a few user interface fixes in this version. The game no longer stalls for a while when opening the single-player worlds list for the first time. Instead, a loading world list message is shown until the list is available. The social interaction screen has been fixed, so the Manage with Microsoft Account button is now centered, and the Tab key now accesses the search field in the right order. Mangrove stripped log, stripped wood, and wood are now in the correct order in the creative inventory. Let's finish up by talking about stability. This snapshot contains crash fixes and performance improvements, but 22w16a also introduced a crash when opening the single-player worlds list if any of your worlds had broken data, which was then fixed in 22w16b. This also brings us to a known issue that remains in Snapshot 22w16b, which is that the game crashes when flying mobs are in dangerous blocks like lava. This can cause your save file to get corrupted, so as always when trying out snapshots, caution is advised and do make that backup the game keeps nagging you about. That's all for this time. Thank you everybody for staying with me to the end of the video, I really appreciate it. If you're interested in even more new stuff for the Wild Update, also check out this video, with things introduced in an earlier snapshot.